guys, welcome back to my channel Education and Masti. So today we are going to deal with the last part, that is part 3 of the chemistry chapter, structure of atoms, and the topics that we are going to deal with are radioactivity, Marie Curie and her husband Pierre Curie. We will be knowing about them, types of radiations, use of radioactive substances, harmful effects of it, nuclear energy into nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. We will be knowing about them. So let's first start with the radioactivity. So first of all, in our mind comes a question that who discovered this phenomenon radioactivity? So in 1896, Anthony Henry Becquerel discovered this phenomenon of radioactivity. He found that the uranium salt, which was kept along with a photographic plate which was covered with black paper, emitted some kind of invisible rays. These rays affected the photograph plate. The invisible rays were named as radioactive rays. So here what some experiment he did, he took some uranium salt which was kept along a photographic plate and it was covered with black paper. Then it emitted some kind of invisible rays, and from this rays the photograph plate which was kept with the uranium salt, that was affected. So these rays were termed as radioactive rays. Now we need to know what is the definition of radioactivity. So let's define this radioactivity. So radioactivity is the phenomenon of spontaneous emission of radiations by certain elements like uranium, radium, etc. The elements emitting such radiation are called radioactive elements. So what is basically radioactivity? It is a phenomenon of spontaneous emission, means continuous emission of radiations by these certain elements. Means radioactivity is a type of phenomenon in which there is a continuous emission of radiation by certain elements only, means by some elements like uranium, radium, etc. So these elements which emit such radiations are called radioactive elements. So now we understood what is this radioactivity. Now let's know about Marie Curie. So let me tell you first something about Pierre Curie and Marie Curie. So in 1898, in 1898, Madame Marie Curie and her husband Pierre Curie found that radioactivity was the property of the elements only and not salts or compounds. Means radioactivity generally they taught us that radioactivity was the property of elements and not any salt or compound which was coming out of those elements. It was one of the properties. So they found it in 1898. So now let's know something about Marie Curie. You might be knowing this well-known physicist Marie Curie, which was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and the first great person to be awarded with 2 Nobel Prizes during her lifetime. Means during her lifetime, Marie Curie got 2 Nobel Prizes and she was also the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. She was a pioneer of radioactivity and discovered 2 elements called polonium and radium. So for the discovery of polonium and radium, she got Nobel Prize, and also she contributed to the first studies in the treatment of cancer using radioactive isotopes. We know that the treatment of cancer is done using the radioactive isotopes. So she contributed. She told us the first studies, like with the help of this radioactive isotopes, the treatment of cancer can be done. So the radioactive isotope which is used for the treatment of cancer is cobalt-60. I repeat, cobalt-60 is the treatment of cancer, means the radioactive isotope which is used for the treatment of cancer. So we now know about Marie Curie. She found polonium and radium, and also she contributed to the first theories of the treatment of cancer using radioactive isotope. Now let's move to the next topic, that is types of radiations. Types of radiation. So now we will see the types of radiations. So Rutherford studied about radioactive radiations given out by radioactive elements. So who was Rutherford? So the answer is Rutherford was a person who discovered nucleus. We have known about him in this video, means in this chapter only. So he studied out the radioactive radiations which was given by the radioactive elements. He found out three kinds of radiation were given out by the nucleus of the radioactive elements. So he found alpha, beta and gamma rays also. Okay. So now there are three types of radiations, alpha, beta and gamma rays. Their symbols have been given to us here. So let's see about alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays. What are they? What are the differences between them? So alpha rays, so you can compare these three rays with what you can say, this one, electron, proton and neutron. Okay, alpha rays is positively charged and proton is positively charged. Okay, then beta rays are negatively charged, electron are also negatively charged. Then gamma rays, they are neutral particles and neutron was also the neutral particles. So here we can get the similarities between proton, electron, neutron and alpha, beta and gamma rays. So now let's know some about the alpha, beta and gamma rays. So these rays are positively charged, denoted by the symbol 2A4. They have charge equals to +2 units and mass equals to 4 AMU. So their charge is this and their mass is this. AMU is the atomic mass unit. Okay, they are similar to helium nuclei and are represented as 2He4, means 2A4 is equals to 2He4. Okay, same thing, but this has changed because it is similar to helium nuclei. These rays have less penetrating power and slightly affected by electrical and magnetical fields. So two things we got, these rays are positively charged and then these rays have less penetrating power. Then beta rays, they are negatively charged, denoted by -1 EO 0. They have same charge and mass like that of an electron. As I have already told you, there are similarities between this. Okay, so beta rays also have one more similarity, that same charge and mass like that of an electron. So what is the mass and charge of an electron? Let me tell you. So the charge of electron is -1. Okay, this is the charge. And what is the mass of electron? So mass of electron in terms of kg it is. Okay, in terms of kg, 9.109 into 10 is to the power -31, that is 31 kg. So the mass of electron is this much. Okay, in terms of kg. Then their penetrating power is greater than alpha rays and they are negatively charged. We told you this one. And they are strongly affected by electrical and magnetical fields. Alpha rays are slightly affected, beta rays are strongly affected by the electrical and magnetical field. Now let's talk about the gamma rays. Okay, so they are represented by this symbol. They are neutral particles. They are electromagnetic radiations with high penetrating power. So they are electromagnetic radiations with high penetrating power, which is compared to alpha and beta rays. Means the highest penetrating power is of gamma rays rather than the alpha and beta rays. They are not affected by electrical or magnetical fields. Alpha rays is slightly affected, beta rays is strongly affected and gamma rays are not affected by the electrical or magnetical fields. Now let's move to the second topic, that is the uses of radioactive substances. So let's see this topic. So there are also uses of radioactive substances. You might be thinking they are always unhealthy to us, but no. They also have some noticeable uses. So now let's know some uses of radioactive substances. First is, radioactive materials like carbon-14 are used to determine the age of rocks. So, minerals, fossils, dead organisms, etc. So, carbon-14 helps us to determine the age of rocks, minerals, fossils, dead organisms, etc. This is done using carbon dating technique. So, carbon-14 one we can get, that is the first useful one. Then second, gamma radiations are used to sterilize food and also helps in are also used in preserving food. If we need to sterilize food or prevent it from germs, or we need to preserve food, then gamma radiations are used for that. Then third point is radioactive substances are used to study the mechanism of chemical reaction. So these radioactive substances, that is alpha, beta and gamma rays, they are used to study the mechanism of the chemical reaction. It is used to check cracks in pipelines, machines, etc. Then they find wide use in medical fields to cure many diseases. So here you can take a screenshot also of this very important one. Cobalt 60 is used in cancer treatment, as I told you. Sodium 24 controls blood circulation. Phosphorus isotopes is used to study the absorption rate of plants. Iodine 131 is used to treat thyroid deficiency. Then uranium isotope 235 is used for peaceful purposes like generation of electricity in power plants by fission reaction. Okay, so these are the uses of radioactive substances. Now I hope you have understood this one. Now let's move on to the next point, that is the harmful effects of these radioactive substances only. Effects of radioactivity or radioactive substances. So what are the harmful effects of radioactive substances? Now let's know that. All radioactive radiations can penetrate into living and non-living matter. So all these radioactive radiations can penetrate into living and non-living matters. So they change the cell structure, leading to gene mutation, that is abnormal changes are produced in living organism in their basic genes. So basic genes means like if anyone is pregnant or something, so when there is a development of child, that time it changes the cell structure, which leads to the gene mutation, that is abnormal changes which are produced in the living organism in their basic development of the birth cycle. Then second one is they lead to skin cancer and other forms of cancer. They lead to deformed babies with defects. They lead to reduction in immunity. Loss of hair and internal bleeding occurs when exposed to excess radiation. It may lead to death also. So basically this is very harmful, as it also leads to the deformed babies with defects. Okay, if anything penetrates, if radioactivity penetrates you, then it also can lead to deformed babies with defects. We know that still in Bhopal and many areas in USSR also, the babies where they are born, one baby is defected. And in Bhopal, out of 4 babies born, 1 baby is defected because of the harmful effects of this radioactive substances. There it was a gas released, but also it causes deformed babies, and also it reduces our immunity, and there is a loss of hair and internal bleeding which occurs when we are exposed to excess radiation. It can also lead to death. It is so dangerous that it can also lead to death. Now let's move to the next topic, that is nuclear energy, basically nuclear fission and fusion. Now let's talk about nuclear energy and its type, nuclear fission and fusion. So before starting that, we need to know what is this nuclear energy. So the chemical reactions are accompanied by loss, gain or sharing of electrons. So we have studied that chemical reactions, they occur when there is a loss, gain or sharing of electrons. Loss or gain of protons or neutrons present in the nucleus results in the nuclear reactions. So nuclear reactions are not those occur every time. Basically we know that there is a loss or gain of electrons only because they are not so attached with the nucleus. Okay, but when there is a loss or gain of protons or neutrons that is present in the nucleus, we know that nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons. So when there is a loss or gain of protons or neutrons which are present in the nucleus, it results to nuclear reaction. We know that electrons only lose or gain, but when protons or neutrons lose or gain, then it is the nuclear reaction. The energy stored in the nucleus of an atom during nuclear reaction is called nuclear energy. So what is nuclear energy? The energy which is stored in the nucleus of an atom during the nuclear reaction. So the energy which is stored in the nucleus of an atom when the nuclear reaction is going on, then it is called nuclear energy. So nuclear energy can be produced by two types of reactions. So nuclear energy, how can it be produced? It can be produced by two types. One is nuclear fission and one is nuclear fusion. Now let's see the first type, nuclear fission. Breaking up of nucleus of a large atom into two or more smaller atoms with release of large amount of energy is called nuclear fission. So what is the definition of nuclear fission? When there is a breaking up of a nucleus of a larger atom into two or more smaller atoms which releases the large amount of energy. Means the breaking up of a nucleus, means there is a nucleus, this is an atom, and inside it nucleus is present. So the breaking up of a nucleus of a larger atom, this is a larger atom, into two or more smaller atoms. So the nucleus is breaking into two or more smaller atoms with the release of large amount of energy is called nuclear fission. So fission can happen naturally or by bombarding an atom with the fast moving neutron. So for the example of nuclear fission, it basically happens naturally or if you have to bombard any atom with the fast moving neutron. So here we will see one example to understand nuclear fission. So let's see this example and try to understand what is the process of nuclear fission. When an isotope of uranium-235, that is 92U, 235 92U, is bombarded with a neutron, it forms an unstable radioactive isotope. So this is bombarded with an isotope, a neutron, okay, and it forms an unstable radioactive isotope. We understand the meaning of unstable and stable radioactive isotope. When in the last electrons or the valence shell there are 8 electrons present, in the valence shell if there are 8 electrons present, then we can say it is a stable one and we call it octet rule. So when it is 23592, the uranium is the isotope of uranium is stable, but when it is bombarded with a neutron it becomes unstable, and this unstable 23692 uranium isotope breaks into two smaller nuclei, barium and krypton. Okay, so nucleus is a full plural form and nuclei is the single form of that. So which are stable along with 3 free electrons and releases a large amount of energy. So this thing we can understand with the help of a reaction. Okay, so here we can see this reaction. Before that, let's read it what it is given. The 3 neutrons formed react with 23592 uranium atom and continues the fission process. This chain reaction continues at a faster rate with the release of a tremendous amount of energy. So in this basically what happens, there is an isotope of uranium, it is stable, but when after it is bombarded with a neutron, it becomes unstable and breaks into 2 nuclei, barium and krypton, and they are stable. Okay, now they become stable. How they become stable? With the 3 free neutrons which releases a large amount of energy. So then again these 3 neutrons which are formed, they react with 23592 area and they continue the fission process. Okay, so this chain reaction continues at a faster rate which releases a large amount of energy. So here we can see the whole reaction. 23592 uranium is bombarded with a neutron which causes an unstable uranium radioactive isotope for the birth. Then it is divided into 2 nuclei. It breaks into 2 nuclei, barium and krypton. 13956 barium plus 9436 krypton plus 3 neutrons and the energy released. Here we can see one picture, nuclear fission chain reaction. We can see release of a large amount of energy. There is an incident neuron, then splitting of nucleus, then fission product, chain reaction. Okay, so the tremendous amount of energy is used under controlled conditions to produce steam, which allows turbines to produce electricity. This principle is used in nuclear power plants. So the principle of nuclear fission is used in nuclear power plant. Okay, so this energy helps to move the turbines, okay, to produce electricity. Here it is given to us the tremendous amount of energy is used in under controlled conditions to produce steam. Okay, this steam allows the turbines to produce electricity. This move turbines and it produces electricity. So this principle is used for the nuclear power plants. Now let's see nuclear fusion. And do you know that sun, this is our sun. Okay, you can, by seeing you can understand the process of nuclear fission takes place in sun. Okay, nuclear fission occurs in sun. So sun is an example of nuclear fusion as it is a star. Most of the stars are responsible, means the reaction which is going on in the stars is nuclear fusion, and we know the sun is a star. So in this also nuclear fusion takes place. So what is nuclear fusion? It is something opposite to nuclear fission. So nuclear reaction in which there is a lighter nuclei which joins to form heavier nucleus which releases a large amount of energy is called nuclear fusion. So in nuclear fusion what happens? There are small lighter nucleus. Okay, together they join to form a larger nucleus which releases a large amount of energy, and this is called nuclear fusion. And in nuclear fission what we saw, that there is a large atom which breaks into two or more smaller atoms and releases large amount of energy. But here there is a very small means lighter nucleus is there. Here weight is being given. Lighter nucleus there which joins together to form a heavier nuclei and releases a large amount of energy. In both cases, one thing is same or one thing is common, that there is a release of large amount of energy. So nuclear fusion reactions are also responsible for the energy of stars, that is sun. Nuclear fusion takes place at a very high temperature and pressure. So it takes place at a very high temperature and pressure. The energy cannot be used for generating current. So the energy which is used for generating current is nuclear fission. But the nuclear fusion electricity, it cannot be used, this energy cannot be used for generating current as it has very high temperature and pressure. So therefore nuclear fission is used for the production of electricity. So I hope it is understood to you. These topics are very much clear to you. Radioactivity, about mercury, types of radiations, use of radioactive substances, harmful effects and nuclear energy. So I hope you have understood the video. So like my channel, like this video, also subscribe my channel and click the bell icon for latest updates. So thanks for watching this video. Take care and bye bye.